think. Maybe. We'll see. We're live. Yeah, Zane, you're back. Yeah, we're just hanging out. This is post-vibe stream going over the Void. Nothing crazy. I just finished sleeving all my playtest cards, so I actually have the cards now. I'm probably going to put them in my binder with all my domains at some point. We'll figure out when in the stream we'll do that. But let's share the screen. Let's go over the Void. Where am I going? Screen, window of this thing. Nope. There it is. All right. Let's take a look at the Void. For the uninitiated, let's take a look here. All right. So, gosh, Darrington Press really pushing us on, not pushing us, but giving us a lot of really cool things. Oh, man, I forgot to hit the ping real quick because I have to do this manually because this was an impromptu stream. But yeah, we're live on the Void. We have a lot of fun stuff. Also, all the old Void content, which is still Void and currently in beta, or not beta, in playtest, is the Warlock and the Fighter, which is now called the Brawler. That is now official on Demiplane, so you should be able to adjust it. Though I think Melly from Demiplane did say that they are currently working on fixing some things that did not get moved for the main version. But with the Void, we have some new content to go over. Specifically, the Witch, the Assassin, and some new Ancestries and communities, which we also get a little bit of art for. So we're definitely zooming on some of this art too. Man, I don't even know where to start. Let's do general overview first. Witch class, magical practitioners who commune with the forces of nature, entities from realms beyond. Witches call forth the power through crafts, rituals, incantation, herbs, stone candles, and other tools to enact their will and conjure powerful spells. With two subclasses, as with the other ones, Hedge and Moon. Assassin, which some people would be like, what's the difference between Assassin and Rogue? In practice, in theory, nothing. But in the game, definitely a little bit of a different vibe. I'm interested here. Oh, 1 second. Oh, I just sneezed and I didn't mute myself. Good night. Okay, I muted myself on Discord instead, which isn't even on. So, Assassins, masters in the art of slipping past their opponent's defense to inflict terrible pain and deadly strikes. When an assassin marks someone for death, they pursue their prey with unwavering intent. Executioner's Guild and Poisoner's Guild. The fact that they decided to go with guilds as the subclass vibe is so cool. Also, the art here from Sean Ellis or Schmeba on Instagram. It's just this art is just so sick. Let's just talk about. I can't zoom in. Okay, I can zoom in. That's the Witch. And here is this boy, this little big, this Panther Katari just looks sick as hell. Assassin class. And then let's talk about the some of the art here. Let's just look at this real quick. So we're supposed to be getting Emberkin, I think is this, and then we're supposed to get anyway, Sean is just so great at the art that he provides here. So we get the Etheris, Earthkin, Emberkin, Skykin, Tidekin, forgot comma, and Gnome. Finally, we get the Gnome. We've been kind of homebrewing how the Gnome would look like in vibes. Then 6 new communities: Duneborne, Freeborne, Frostborne, Hearthborne, Reborne, and Warborne, which I'm interested. But yeah, anyways, let's zoom out. And then, in addition, let's go back to 100%. We do have an update to the Warlock. Some of the Warlock stuff got changed, which we will not be going over tonight. We're going to be going over Warlock and Brawler in tomorrow's stream, which was just added today when I heard about the news. But there's no way I'm going to get through all this content in one entire stream, especially because I just finished doing the Beast Feast stream less than 30 minutes ago. So Warlock got changed with a couple updates, specifically its Warlock feature, I think, is so much better than it was before. And then Brawler is now the new class rather than it being called the Fighter. We'll see what kind of changes there are there. In going in today, I have not really looked into everything when it comes to the communities. I kind of looked at it briefly, and as I was like sleeving some of these like playtest cards, but I think let's jump into heritages first, because we got a couple things. Definitely gonna zoom in here to make it easier to read. Let's go left to right. Start with Earthkin. So with these first four kins, we are getting like more elemental. Spencer said on the stream that this is supposed to kind of mimic the ability to be innate with a specific weapon or with a specific ancestry style. Yeah. D20 Dragon Tales, welcome in. And yes, the art is always amazing. Once again, Sean Ellis, lead art director or art. I'm pretty sure he's still contracted, but man, his art is amazing. Earthkin though. Earth are defendants from Earth Elemental, similar to Genasi's in D&D, and are humanoids whose body are a combination of flesh and water. Heart of Stone. After marking any number of hit points, you can spend 2 hope to gain a +1 bonus to your damage thresholds until your next long rest. Okay. I see how this could be usual, like usable. Totally usable. I feel like this is maybe a little niche. But it does give you a reaction style with hope. 2 hope, I think, might be a little much for a +1 bonus. But if you're ever on the edge and you're about to get hit, definitely something that you could use. Tectonic Attack. You strike the ground with your weapon, erupting the earth in cascading fissure. When you do, make a weapon attack against all targets in a line. That's some new wording. I don't think we've had any line. Oh, no, we have had lines because of some stuff like Rampage from some of the adversaries. So line isn't new. Within very close range. Any targets you succeed against take a d8 damage using your proficiency and are temporarily restrained. Actually, this is really strong. Being able to inflict a condition, there is no cost to it. It's just a standard weapon attack, and it's just anything within close range. There's nothing stopping you from always using Tectonic Attack. You can honestly use Tectonic Attack every single time. Don't know how that will feel on balance. So far, we haven't had really any differences. Like I think the idea of D8 magic damage using proficiency and restraining might be a little too good, but we'll see. Definitely take some takes and see about some people playtesting that in some of the games. Tidekin. Tidekin are descendants from water elementals. Who would have known? Bodies are made out of flesh and water. Technically, we're all made out of flesh and water. That's just me being an ass. Life spree once per session. You can use a small amount of water from your surroundings to heal an ally within melee range. When you do so, clear a hit point from the target. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I feel like this is... I think this is good, especially if you think about like Tidekin. Well, like obviously, I think we're going to be having a feature, and then we're also going to have a weapon from what it looks like from the next one. If I look at Emberkin a little bit, but I think this is decent. Like if you don't have a lot of healing, which Daggerheart innately does not have a whole lot of healing in its arsenal, intentionally so that way no one has to be restricted to being a healer. But this gives a little bit of a reprieve. Not too terrible. Water Whip. You can pull water from the environments around you to use as an attack. When you do so, treat it as a finesse weapon. With close range, it deals a d6 magic damage using proficiency. If you are within close range of a body of water, you can spend a hope to attack with far range and deal 1d10 damage. Keynote here for your players who will try to metagame. Body of water does not typically revolve a grass or like a glass of water. That being said, I think there's a little bit of a restriction here because it's a finesse weapon. So you're likely not going to see like a Tidekin giant because oftentimes, or Tidekin guardian, right? So your Tidekin, it might not happen very often because your guardian is likely not going to spec into finesse, at least typically. This is more archetypally. It's not going to spec into finesse. That doesn't mean your guardian can't have finesse, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. I don't love it, but I think it's cool. This last portion is sick as hell, where you can spend a hope to make it go within far range to deal a d10 instead. That is sick. Cool. Emberkin, Incinerator. Mark a stress. You light yourself ablaze until you take major damage or more. While ablaze, adversaries who end their attack in melee range of you mark a stress. What? Hold on. Hold on. This stacks really fast with, I believe, if you go Emberkin Druid, I have to wipe my glasses just to see, to make sure I'm reading this correctly. But your mutt's a lot of stress. I guess it is when you take major damage, it stops. But yeah, I think it's interesting. And Fire Shot. You unleash a projectile of fire with a target within far range. They must make a reaction roll from your level plus 10. On a failure, they take a d10 plus 5 magic damage using your proficiency. On a success, you mark a stress, and the GM gains a fear. Oh, okay. Interesting. A little bit of a... I don't quite understand the narrative reason as to why if they succeed against you, you mark a stress, and the GM gains a fear. High risk, high reward. Definitely we see the first thing. We definitely see one of the first moments of 10 plus level. That wording isn't common, if it's at least in the game thus far. There aren't anything that I know of that's level plus 10. Not saying there isn't, but nothing that comes into mind immediately. Not saying that's wrong either. I'm just saying this is definitely new verbiage that we haven't seen in Daggerheart in terms of like a precedent for. Chris, welcome. It's weird that you'd be double on fire. Yeah, I guess so. And welcome. Roll the dice. Welcome in. Yeah, just taking a look at some of the Void stuff. But Emberkin, so here's the thing about me. I may be a little impartial because I'm not necessarily always the biggest fan of like the Genasi, however you want to pronounce it. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's all fantasy. So I don't love them because I'm just not naturally inclined to play a character like that. But I do think some of these are interesting in terms of setting new precedents for some new stuff. Hopefully there's not power creep. My biggest thing that I really hope is that the game doesn't encroach on power creep, because players are already so damn powerful. Skykin. Gust Leap. Once per rest, you can call upon the wind to pick you up and carry you to a point for within very far range. So, if we're going by some rules as written, very far range can be up to 300 feet, which is crazy. Just to be able to move that much distance. But I also think with Gustkin, we'll also see some people try to like, oh, I'm just going to jump up to the top of the mountain. And in beta rules, technically that would be the case because it didn't always limit how far very far was. It's just anything you see that's not far, that's outside of 100 feet. Gale Force is the attack. Conjure a wind attack. Make an instinct roll against all targets in front of you within very close range. Any targets you succeed take a d6 magic damage using your proficiency and are forced back to far range. I like this. I think Skykin's probably my favorite one. But I'm also naturally an airbender. Like, that is my personal, like, if I was an element, I would probably be air. Philosophically, when it comes to Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm probably like a water tribe, but like mechanically, I feel like I'd be air. But yeah, some of these are interesting. I definitely feel like these massive attacks should be. I feel like these attacks should be limited. Because nothing, once again, with Tectonic Attack, nothing's stopping you from making this every single attack. So every attack, you're dashing attack, dash attack, dash attack. Nothing's stopping you from making Water Whip every single time. Like in a nautical campaign, Water Whip is busted. Not really, because it does cost a hope, but still. Yeah, I think, Esther, making some of these more until your next rest or until your next long rest might be the way to go. But I'm also not opposed. So, Etheris, these are humanoids who possess glowing auras and wings they can conjure at will. They are descendants from celestials from the hollows above. This should be, if I'm being honest, this is an ongoing conversation. This is supposed to be the opposite of Etheris. So you have Etheris and Etheris, kind of what we would call as Tieflings, and Aasimar. But I still don't feel like this fits. Hollowed Above, when you roll with Hope, instead of gaining a Hope, you can instead spend a Hope to clear a stress. Not too bad. I like it. I don't hate it. Seems a little odd. I would say that the wording should be instead of gaining a Hope, you clear a stress, not instead of gaining a Hope, you spend a Hope, because that's a net negative Hope. The wording would mean if you roll with Hope, instead of gaining a Hope, so you don't get that Hope, you just automatically spend it, or spend a new Hope that you'd never gained to clear a stress. The wording here should be instead of gaining a Hope, clear a stress. Unless they really did intend this. Yeah, I am also shocked that Etheris wasn't included in the core. I think it's because of Seraph, which I feel like this should be called Seraph as an ancestry. This is a conversation I've had with many people. But this is where I don't like Etheris. Divine Wings, you call forth your Divine Wings to fly. While flying, you can mark a stress to pick up and carry a willing creature approximately smaller, or your size or smaller. While your wings are revealed, you gain advantage on rolls to command or intimidate a target. I don't love this because it, one, is just Winged Sarah or Winged Sentinel Foundation, right? Let me look. Let's see. Pull out my domain binder because I like showing off, I guess. But Winged Sentinel, let's see. Just read it. While flying, or Winged Sentinel, you can fly. So the difference is, yeah, so you call forth your Divine Wings, you can fly. Like, there's nothing stopping while flying. And same thing here. Mark a stress to pick up a willing target approximately your size or smaller. Same exact wording. When you're flying, you can mark a stress to pick up and carry a willing creature approximately your size or smaller. This is a copy and paste of the foundation for Winged Sentinel, meaning you will never, not never, I'm not going to say never because that's an overstatement, but there's like no point of being an Etheris Winged Sentinel. Like, that's just like, once again, Daggerheart, you don't have to do optimal things, but it doesn't make sense here. Yeah, so I think Hollowed Soul, while so I'm 100% with like, oh, it gives you a choice of sacrificing hope or gaining hope. I think it should just be free. I think if you roll with hope, now like you're almost punished in order to clear a stress. I don't love it. I don't love Aetherist. I love the idea of Aetherist. I think Aetherist should exist in the game in some capacity. I just don't love the mechanics to it. That's all I will say. It's not bad. It's actually fairly okay, but it's just, I don't love this. I won't spend too much time. Let's keep moving. Gnome. Gnomes are small humanoids easily recognized by their dense musculature, long arms, and large facial features. Long arms? This might be a reimagination of Gnome, but I don't remember gnomes having large arms. Let's even type in D&D Gnome, just so we can get the general. Yeah. I guess they have larger-ish arms. So, Esther, so you could say the same about why you would have a fairy Winged Sentinel. I think one distinction between the fairy and the Aetherist is for fairy, let's pull it up. You get an extra +2 to evasion. Like, so you get like, there's a mechanical benefit for it. Let's see, Daggerheart. So if we go to Ancestries, the difference here though is you can spend the ability to fly, but when you do so, you mark the stress and you get a +2 to the evasion. So I think there's a little bit of a distinction here, but I agree with you. They're very similar, and honestly, I don't think I would ever pick the Fairy Winged Sentinel either because it's just redundant. But I think this, and since I already have this up, let's just literally copy paste it. Copy pasta. Winged Sentinel. Mark a stress to pick up and carry another willing creature. And like, I'll literally copy, go here, Control F, paste it. Let's just, okay. Maybe there's a little bit of wording difference. Pick up and carry a willing creature approximately your size or smaller. I don't think this is actually detecting text. Yeah, it's actually not detecting text at all, so never mind. Of course it's not going to search. But yeah, it's just, there's a little bit of a difference that you get from the fairy, but the Etheris, I just don't think it does its job. Anyways, back to the gnome. I don't think gnomes are known for the long arms, so this is definitely a reimagination of what gnomes are. I'm interested to see what the card art will look like, because we don't get gnomes in here. Oh, hold on. Is this a gnome? Hold on. Is this a gnome? No, there's no way that's a gnome. It's a small creature. This has to be something else. Unless it isn't. Maybe it's not. But yeah, you can sense the presence of magical creatures. Or sorry, nimble fingers. When you make a finesse roll, you can spend 2 hope to reroll the hope die. That's good. That's not terrible. It's spend a hope to possibly gain a higher number. Because if you roll with hope, then it's better. I don't love that it's spend 2 hope. I feel like I would rather this be like spend a stress personally, but magical sense, you can sense the presence of a magical creature. You have advantage on rolls to track or locate creatures with magical ability. Sense the magical. Okay, yeah, this isn't terrible. I like this. A gnome ranger really makes sense here. Yeah, magical sense is good. Gnome, I think, is probably actually Skykin. I think, in my opinion, is my favorite one out of all these. But yeah. So, long arms are because their finesse ability to help differentiate them from halflings. No, I agree. I agree that there needs to be something that distinguishes them. But if you look at gnome, let's just type in gnome versus halfling. Like, I don't see the arms, at least in a traditional fantasy that we understand in 5e. There's not really a difference in terms of size. Doesn't have to be. I'm interested to see how they depict gnomes, because they depict furbolgs differently than before. So, all right, communities. Let's do this. Duneborne. This is what I think I'm more excited for, to see how these work. Being a part of a Duneborne community means you spent your home in the shifting sands and arid climate of the desert. I don't know the sound. What's the song for Dune? Anyways, it's fine. Oasis. Through the heat of day and through the cold of night, you know how to take care of your people. Once per rest, during a moment of calm, you can clear a stress on all allies within very close, or clear a hit point on all allies within very close. Okay, this is good. This is really good and really makes sense. I like the idea of this. Once per rest during a calm moment. So you can't do this mid-combat, but I really like this. Okay, what am I seeing? Because I'm seeing some laughter in the chat. Would track magical ability, would that mean all PCs have spellcasting trait? I feel like that's up to depictions of how you go about it. Because for gnomes, just going back, referring to chat, you sense the presence. Oh, I need to change this to live chat so that way I'm looking at it in the right order. But look at creatures with magical abilities. I think you could arguably say yes, you can see your allies. But I think it might be a little more than that. It depends. You're the GM. You get to pick. If you're the GM, you get to decide that. So, but I really love Duneborne. I like Duneborne. Duneborne's really good because it's not something that you can use in combat. It has to be done out of combat. Freeborn. Being a part of a Freeborn community means you're from a collective that lived under tyrannical rule and now liberated. Once per session, unbound. When you make an action roll with fear, you can instead change it to roll with hope. Okay. I have to think about this. I don't hate it, but I feel like this could be better. Only reason is the thing I like about this game is I want to try to make it where, say you have a Freeborn Etheris. The Etheris can just spend stress to do this anyway. I'm trying to find a way to make it non-redundant. That being said, the game itself Like this is kind of just a free use case where you can just change the roll with fear to a roll with hope regardless, without having to spend the stress. So there's also that level of like it's a little bit more unique. But I feel like Freeborn, oh man, I feel like what would be really cool for Freeborn, is maybe like this may be a little broken. Actually, this is definitely broken a little bit. But once per session, when your GM makes a GM move, you can choose to make a play, or you can choose to take an action, like in place of the GM move. Like I think that might be interesting. Might be a different mechanic. It hasn't been explored yet before, but I think it would be interesting. To kind of show that you are unbound and you're not going to wait for the adversaries. You kind of stun the GM with your once per session feature. I think that'd be interesting. Could be broken though, but like the GM takes the GM. It doesn't take away like the GM's fear, but say the GM naturally gets his move, or I'm saying his gets me because I'm always thinking of myself as the GM, but could be interesting. Ooh, yeah, it'd be fun. Instead, you swap the hope and fear die. I think that might be interesting. Once per session, when someone makes an action roll within far range of you, you can instead switch the hope and fear die. I like that. Make it where it's not just you who's able to free others or free yourself, but you can free others. I like that. I don't like the phrase cancel a GM fear move, only because that with the idea of canceling it is basically a free counter spell, and I don't want to do that. I do want to make it where the GM's move is like delayed, so the GM will still take its turn later, but I don't want to give someone a free counter spell as a community feature. I feel like that's a little strong. But Chris, I really like the idea of Unbound being something where you can unbound others, because liberation is not just a solo movement; it's a community movement. Frostborn. Let's move on. Being a part of a Frostborn community means you come from a place of snow and ice. Long winter. You know how to make resources last. Once per long rest, you can choose to repair all armor, or when you choose to repair all armor, you can repair an ally's armor up to half their base armor score. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. Once per long rest when you choose to repair all armor. So this only comes up once if you're a campaign, or if you're a group that only rests like once a session or once every other session, that you might not get a lot of like use out of this. I think it's good, but I don't feel like it lives up to the hype of some of these others. Well, if the roles switch from hope to fear, the spotlight would not return to the GM. That's why this might be a once per session. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think for Freeborn, we're jumping back and forth because I'm reading comments. When you make an action roll, yeah, I mean, it doesn't switch back to the GM. I think that's decent. I don't hate it. I will say, like, Frostborn and like some of these extra communities definitely like make other campaign frames a little off or a little odd to like mess around with. Like Frostborn in an Age of Umbra seems a little weird. Frostborn in a Witherwilds might be a little odd too. I mean, there are mountains, so maybe it's not super odd. Doesn't include any downtime moves for long winter. That doesn't. Well, it says when you choose repair all armor. So I would assume that means you have to have chose that portion, which then also means like you have to be taking damage in order to use your feature. So I feel like if you don't use armor slots and you don't take that much damage, might be a little different. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I love Duneborne. I freaking love Duneborne. Duneborne's so good. And Freeborn, once again, don't love it, but don't hate it. So, all right, let's jump into Hearthborn so that we can jump into classes because I'm really excited to do that. So Hearthborn, coming from a Hearthborn community means you come from humble origins, having lived in a small village or countryside. Close-knit, when you help an ally, you can instead spend 2 hope to make the advantage die a D10 instead of a D6. I love this feature. This is great. Hearthborn's amazing. 2 hope might be a little high. I might make that a hope. 2 hope makes sense. But still, when you help an ally, you get to make it a D10 or a D6. I love this. That's so good. It doesn't steal away from the ranger or the bone domains tactician, but it's just like a little small thing that you just get for free. I love this one. I don't have anything to say other than I love it. Hope actually, I do have one thing to say. 2 hope might be a little much, but Reborne. You were once a member of another community, but can no longer remember it. Found family. Once per session, you can spend hope to use an ally's communal ability. When you do, your ally gains hope at any point when you've discovered the community you were once part of or have joined a new community. You can permanently trade this community card for that one instead. This is the best. This is the best one so far. I haven't even read Reborne yet, but I'm calling it. Reborne is better than Hearthborne and is better than Duneborne. This is so good. Found family once per session. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm going to have to take off my glasses for that. This is great. Like, I thought Close Knit was great. Found family is even better. You can spend a hope to use, and you give them... Oh, this is... everything about this is amazing. Reborn, 100%. I take this every single time. Oh my god, this is so good. Because I also love the idea of Reborn, because you get to also, like, you're now in charge of learning what the other players do. As a GM, I relish when other players learn what other players do. One, it sets them up for better tag team attacks, and if I'm being honest. But playing together as a group and saying, kind of having that cross table talk, or like the Discord direct message on the side saying, hey, what's your community card? It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to use that. Like, oh, that's so good. I love this one. And you give them your hope. Reborn's so great. There's nothing wrong with this one. Might be a little broken, if anything, but there's nothing wrong here. When you do get your ally gains a hope, that might be a little broken. Oh, it's once per session. No, it's not broken at all. This is not broken in one bit. This is perfect. This is chef's kiss. Warborn. Being part of a Warborn community means you come from a place that is or was ravaged by war. Once per rest, you mark 2 stress instead of an armor to reduce incoming damage by 1 threshold. Free armor slot. I don't love this. But, reason I don't like Warborn. Let's go to some communities. There's one that you just get a free armor slot, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. I lied. No, there's none that give you a free armor slot. I thought there was one that gives... I thought Ridgeborne gave a free armor slot. Felt like there was one that gave a free armor slot, but I'm wrong. Maybe that's Orc, or another one. But there's an ancestry that gives it. So this one actually I actually like this. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I like it. I wish Warborn was maybe a little more. Like I wish Warborn was a little bit more combat focused. That's all. I feel like Warborn should be something where oh, it might be a domain card. There's a lot of cards that give you free armor slots. But Warborn, the vibe I get from Warborn means you are inclined in combat. So I don't know. I'm trying to think. Don't hate it though. Cool. Now, all right. Let's do this. Let's see the thing. I haven't used this in a while. Let's throw a poll in the chat. What next? And let's do the witch and the assassin. All right, just gonna drop a poll in the chat. Let's see what you guys hit, and to see which one we go next. Feel free to vote on witch or assassin, and that's the one we'll do next. And obviously, whichever one we miss, we'll do that one after. As soon as I see some of these results, I'll kind of end the poll here in a little bit here. See what we go with. Drop it. We're probably going to end the poll here in a minute. Linda. Yeah, I feel like Warborn should be maybe an auto-reduce damage. I just don't know, man. Like, I feel like it might even be cool to make like Warborn once per rest you can mark, or maybe it's not even a once per rest. You can mark 2 stress to increase your proficiency. Like I feel like it needs to be damage combat related. Brave Face is okay, but when I think of like someone who has survived through war, it's someone who when things get like when shit hits the fan, we are jumping up and facing danger with our own prowess. Like it shouldn't be something reactionary in terms of marking a stress. Like I feel like it should be more active. That's just my opinion. All right, I'm gonna end the poll here. Oh my gosh, the poll was not even close. 6 votes still. Witch it is. We're gonna go to the witch assassin last. Witch. Okay, new domain for the witch. Have it all here in these things. But the witch is Dread and Sage. So we already know what Sage is, and we started to understand what Dread is. Looks like they're kind of double downing on Dread. My suspicion is that when we get the next Void content, we're going to get one more domain, and that domain is going to cover 2. And then we're going to get one more domain, and that's going to cover 2. And then we're going to get a total of 9 classes, I would think, in whatever supplement we get. Or 18. They tend to go in pairs of 9 and 18 from what I've seen in terms of their numbers for releasing, at least what we have here. So, all right. Witches, Dread and Sage. Those are the domains. Starts at 10. 6 health, 6 stress. Pretty standard. Zoom this in a little bit. Witch's Charm. When you are an ally within far range rolls a failure, you can spend 3 hope to change it to a success with fear instead. What's up, Jeremy? Sickety Wicked over here. We're going over Witch. We just went over the heritages. We have the Witch and the Assassin left. Going over the Witch. Witch's Charm. I've said this so much now. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't know why. In key moments, a success with fear. I hope that there's some more play with fear. Like, I really like the fact that Dread likes fear. So maybe this is actually Dread likes to have rolls attack with fear, or actually benefits whenever someone rolls with fear. So this is actually good. Witch's Charm is good. Pretty good. All right. Hex and Commune are the class features. So with Hex, when a creature causes you or an ally within close range to mark any number of hit points, you can mark a stress to hex them. Easy. Within close range. While hexed, they gain a penalty to their damage rolls equal to your spellcast rate, a penalty to their difficulty equal to your tier, and you can only hex 1 target at a time. It's not bad. It's really cheap, though, but it's not bad. Drops. So spellcast rate at level 1, that means their damage thresholds drop by 2. Level 2 drops by 3, or at tier 2 drops by 3. Tier 3 drops to roughly 4, maybe 5. Tier 5, you're looking at 5, 6, 7. Don't hate it. Difficulty, though, is pretty damn significant. At level 1, you drop it by 1. Not a whole lot there. At level 2, dropping the difficulty by 2 is a lot. As a GM, that's a lot. Especially when you can stack those. Like, so, the reason that I need you keep this one in mind. You can hex someone and then corrosive blast them, marking the stress or the hope to permanently decrease their difficulty. So now you're looking at level 2 being able to reduce the difficulty by 6, effectively making the difficulty of the roll a 10 for a solo. On average, this is from the GM standpoint when you open the book. A GM at tier 2 typically has around 16, 17 is usually, or anywhere from 14 to 17 is usually where the difficulty lands. And so now you're reducing that to anywhere between 8 to 11 is all you need to hit. That's a lot. especially for how cheap it is. I would like to see this nerfed a little bit. I once again, I love this. Or, I could even see it being something where it's like instead of and, this becomes or. So instead of the spellcast trait and the penalty, it's spellcast or damage threshold is lowered and the difficulty is lowered. It should be an or. I think that might work. Because the thing is, like, if you're targeting a solo character likely has 16 or 17. Man, that's so much. That's so much. That's a lot. And this doesn't also affect the fact that your players can also utilize experiences, gain the help action, Seraph die, Bard rallies. Like, I want my players to hit, obviously. Like, I cheer my players on when they hit. But I do think that this is a little bit strong. It's a good bit strong. It's not a little bit. It's a good bit strong. Hex is fun, though. I like it thematically. I think it would be really fun at the table. But just a tad. Commune. During a long rest, you can commune with an entity, ancestor, deity, spirit, aspect of nature, etc. Ask them a question, roll 4d6. If any of the dice have matching values, reference the chart below. If you have multiple matches, you get more than one effect. Okay. Yeah, so I saw the difficulty equal to the tier, but I'm including the idea of like corrosive blast, which is able to reduce the difficulty depending on how much stress you cast or use. So going back to commune, I like it. 4d6. What are the odds here? Let's just do what are the odds of rolling matches with 46. 46 category. That's not what I'm asking. This is the nerd in me now. Okay. This is where I will go to DeepSeek. Let's just have the AI run it. You chat. I use DeepSeek for my transcriptions. I don't want to know the permutations. Just let me know what it is. I don't need to know all the math. 72, okay. At least one match is 72%. Okay, that's actually pretty high. 72% chance of commune working? That's pretty high. Where are we at? This one. Yeah, 72% chance. This is actually pretty good. This is decent. This is actually really good. So the questions are, you taste a flavor relevant to the answer. You smell an odor relevant to the answer. You feel a sensation relevant to the answer. You hear sounds relevant to the answer. You see visions relevant to the answer, and you witness a relevant scene play out. 6 is definitely what you want. Okay, I like this. This is good. This is really good. I think this makes sense. The ability to commune as a witch really fits the vibe. Looking through some things, it looks like they're instinct based on the suggested traits. Dual staff, instinct, yeah. So same thing. You choose a handcrafted besom. What's a besom? Oh, broom. It's a broom. Or a pouch of animal bones you found in the wild. Description's cool. Let's see the questions. I think these are fun. How did you first discover your affinity with magical craft? I like the question. You once used your power to help some in a dire situation. Who were they and why did they come for you? I like it. Your magic once opened a door best left closed. Who or what was on the other side? Love it. And then connections. What about your magical practice makes you the most ill at ease? What about my magical practices makes you most ill at ease? My brain isn't braining. Hold on. What about my magical practice makes you most ill at ease? Someone want to explain to me this question? What is it asking? What about my practice that makes me feel bad? brings me ease? So would the answer be something like, I know that whatever you're doing is going to be for the benefit of the party? Oh, ill at ease is an expression? Good night. Thank you. Ill at ease. Oh, makes you feel uncomfortable or embarrassed. Okay, thank you. I did not know that was an expression. Thank you, everyone. Just thank you, everyone. I don't know. I've never heard that expression before. Now I feel dumb. Okay, what about magical pranks? It makes me feel uncomfortable. Okay, that makes sense. I once appeared to you in a dream and shared vision of the future. What did I tell you? Why do you come for me for advice? I like these questions. I really like these connection questions. Tier 2, nothing too crazy here. Let's jump into subclasses. So we have two subclasses. We have hedge, and moon. Let's look at hedge first. Hedge feels to be... I don't even know. I'm not even reading into this. So spellcast trait, instinct. Herbal remedies. When you take a downtime action that requires rolling, you can roll twice to take the higher result. Ooh, okay. I like that. That's a good one. That's nice. Wow, okay. Tethered Talisman. Once per long rest, during a movement of peace, you can enchant a small object to give to an ally to tether them. While a tethered ally holds this object, whenever they are hit... Wait, whenever they are hit... Okay, hold on. I just dropped my fan. Sorry. Once again, this is like not a super formal stream. It's just like chilling. Once per rest, during a moment of peace, you can enchant a small object and give it to an ally, tether them. While the tethered ally holds this object, when they are hit by an attack, you can expend the magic in the totem to deal 1 hit point to the attacker. I like it. Not crazy. Not bad. Just give it to your front line. They get hit, you deal damage, and it's just flat hit, deals 1 hit point. In a dream, you told me that the discount code... What are you asking me? Oh, is this the answer to one of the connection questions? Okay. Walk between worlds. Make a spellcast trait, or spellcast roll 13, in an area containing 1 or more dead bodies. On a success, you can watch the last few moments leading to their death. By bringing the surroundings of the past into a spectral form, you can mark a stress during the spell to also hear sounds that were made during this moment. On a failure, the bodies turn to dust. This is so much better than Premonition or what's the other one? Commune. Like, I love this one. Hedge is good. Enhance Augury, when you use Commune, you roll 66, just higher stats. That probably brings it up to like 87%. I'm not even going to do the math. That's good. I like it. And the mastery feature that you get at level 8 as the earliest you can get. Once per long rest, when you mark a circle on the ground up to very close range and place a number of tokens, or mark a circle on the ground up to very close range and place a number of tokens equal to your spellcast rate on this card. Each time you make an action roll or a hit, remove a token. The spell lasts until you've spent all your tokens or step out of the circle. While in the circle, you gain a +4 to your damage rolls, +2 to your attack rolls, or +1 to your evasion. Oh, no, hold on. While in this circle, you gain all of it. I like it. I love the flavor of this witch. I love the witchy class. This is good. The subclasses are hitting the mark. They're doing a good job. They're really fulfilling what I'm thinking. No issues. I have no issues. I have no complaints with any of this. Considering all the balance combinations that you get with this all, I love everything about this. Keep it coming. All right, Moon. I'm so excited now, especially with that. Moon, instinct roll. Night Watcher. When you are in moonlight, you have a +1 to your spellcast rolls. Could be good, could be bad. Just depends on the setting. Like, issue with Night Watcher a little bit is like a Witherwild campaign. In the Witherwild campaign, for those who don't know, the 1 week is a day, or 1 week is like 1 day time, and then another week is a night cycle. So it's 7 days of day and then 7 days of night. Kind of feels weird for Night Watcher. Ire of the Pale Light. When a creature within far range that you have cursed with your hex fails an attack, they also mark a stress. Gosh, this is good. I'm whelmed. I'm not overwhelmed or underwhelmed because of just how good Hedge was. I love Hedge so far, but I really want to like Moon. I hope Moon's gets better. All right, specialization. They need a sandwich subclass for Beast Feast. That's hilarious. We definitely need a sandwich class for Beast Feast. Actually, would a sandwich just be a Duneborne witch for a sandwich for Beast Feast? I feel like that would make the most sense. Moonglow. Mark a stress to glamour yourself and create magical facade over your form. Your glamour automatically drops the next time you take damage or at your next long rest. While glamored, you can take the form of any creature of your approximate size that you've seen. I like that. Enhance your own appearance. Gain advantage on presence rolls to leverage this change to its purpose. I like that. I actually really like Moonglow. Moonglow's good. JW. What if what I looked up is right enhanced augury? Oh, yeah, probably. 98% chance of doubles. That makes sense. I mean, I don't. If that's what you saw, then we're going with it. One of my favorite parts is they didn't make the witch infernalist, which historically speaking, they weren't and aren't. 100%. Yes, I agree. Witches are a misnomer of a lot of different lore. There's a lot of missing lore from witches, like from a real world sense, because there was also a misconception of what a witch was. Now, if you're going back to like old European and what witch meant then, you'll get, I guess, the more common understanding of what a witch was. But then if you look at American society and like the Great Witch Hunts, which were primarily like Christian Europeans, and I think something that's really interesting, and this just goes back to like different forms of history. I think a lot of us would say that witches were persecuted by the Roman Catholic Church. That's not true. The Roman Catholic Church had nothing to do with the witch hunts. It was primarily like American Puritanism, and that style of thing. That's just a different side of history that I went with because I understood that as a misconception. But yeah, it's just interesting. There's a lot of lore on like what a witch is, because America got witches totally wrong because of very weird movements that existed. Anyways, that's a weird little mini rant. Not rant, but just thing. Okay, mastery. Lunar phases. During a long rest, instead of communing, you can roll your communion die to alter your form. If any of your dice have matching values, reference the chart below for the effect. If you have multiple matches, choose one. If none matches, choose a different downtime action. Eclipse, gain +1 to your evasion. It's flat. This just happens. Waxing, you gain +2 to your damage rolls. And waning, you can always spend a hope to reduce minor to none. I think the one thing I don't like about Moon is it's inconsistent. And it's a little underwhelming. Especially as someone who loves like moon magic. Like let's just look at D&D Beyond. My favorite subclass classes is what's this? And actually, did they reprint it in Cleric, like the Moon Druid? No, they did not. Harvest Domain. I don't even know what that is. I have not played D&D in so long. My favorite subclass was the Moon Domain. No, it's not the Moon Domain. It was a Twilight Domain. I love this subclass. But like the ability to like this Twilight Sanctuary feature. I want them to have something like this. I feel like that would be nice. What is the Moon Domain? Oh, this would be cool. But yeah, I think Tank Witch is probably Moon Domain, if I'm being honest. Where am I at? I also think you could do Tank Witch with Hedge, too. But I feel like it gets really tanky at higher levels. It doesn't really get tanky lower levels. So, yeah. Cool. We'll go with that. And then, let's see. Yeah, that's the witch. And then we won't go into like the dread stuff because like we can look at this tomorrow. I will be going over warlock and brawler and specifically talking about dread and like what changes in dread. Like I'll look at the old dread versus the new dread. Did anything change there? So cool. All right, assassin. Let's zoom in. Assassin, you would think is rogue, but actually it's the midnight and blade domain. So you are going full on just sneaking and damage. Like this is gonna be. I'm excited to see what this comes up with because you get some really sick combos with midnight and blade. Starting evasion is 12, HP 5, and stress 6. So lower health, higher HP. Grim Resolve, spend 3 hope to clear 2 stress. This could be good. Depends on, I guess, how much stress the assassin uses. Yeah. Ambush. Move into melee range and make a successful weapon attack. Or when you move to melee range and make a successful weapon attack, you can mark a stress and force the target to make a reaction roll with a difficulty of 10 plus your level. So not too difficult, honestly. So it's basically 50-50 chance. On a failure, increase the damage of your attack by a number of d6 equal to your tier. Okay. This isn't terrible. Not bad. Okay, so yeah, definitely is going to be using stress, especially with ambush. I see no reason why a assassin would never use stress. I will say, as an assassin, you probably then don't want a ranged weapon. You probably always want to be up front. Which, let's go back to heritages, or let's go back to the ancestry. I'm just being honest. Tectonic attack. You can strike the ground with your weapon. Oh, but it's an attack against very close range. Never mind. Nothing's stopping you from going into melee range though. So you could dash towards someone and make an attack with this, with the tectonic fissure. Just saying. Get in, get out. Spend a hope to ask the GM for either a quick or inconspicuous way in or out of a building or structure you can see. Your next roll makes a capitalizes on this information and has advantage. I like this. That's good. I like getting good and out. Get in, get out. Let's go for it. Let's keep moving. I love it. Let's do it. That's a great use of hope. Yeah, I will say I think there are some limitations to it though. I think that like say you're underground, right, and you want to use the get in, get out to try to get out from underground. I feel like there might be a little bit, but yeah, I feel like there might be a little bit of a what's it called? I think there might be a little bit of like play here. It's like I don't think you can spend a hope here. Like I feel like as a GM, I might say that sometimes, depending on how difficult it might be. Sickety Wicked. Couple chats. Yeah, Midnight and Blade, awesome, amazing. I really like this combo. I think the feature doesn't need to be a reaction roll when you use a stress. Yeah, I could see it not being a reaction roll. Yeah, I feel like maybe you're right. Maybe we make it just cost a stress and there's no reaction roll involved. Or you mark a stress, and I feel like it might even be better if like maybe you roll. Or maybe we limit it a little bit. Maybe ambush. When you make a melee weapon and succeed on a weapon attack with hope, you can mark a stress to force a target, or to on a successful weapon attack with hope, you can mark a stress to increase the damage of your attack by a number of d6 equal to your tier. So it can't just be any attack. It can't be an attack with fear. It must be a success with hope for you to then make that stress cost. So that way it's guaranteed, and there's no secondary roll involved. I agree. I'm not a fan of like spend a resource and then also make a save. I don't like that either. I think that's more rolling than needs to be because you're already rolling to hit, and now the other person's rolling to succeed. I'm not a fan of that mechanic either, which is why I don't necessarily like how Fireball is coded in the game. But I like the idea of making it when you make a success with hope. Yeah, I think that works better. Definitely, I think more consistent and more fair. Because it's basically the same. not exact same odds as like a rogue getting sneak attack, because all this increased damage is a sneak attack in reality. Just a little different version. All right. Nothing else on Assassin. Pretty straightforward, as it is just a straight damage dealing class. List of names of a list of names with several marked off. That's hilarious. I also think it's interesting to like, what if you like if you pick this as a level 1 character, it's like, how many people have you killed, dude? And it's like the running joke of like, you don't need to know. A mortar and pestle inscribed with a mysterious insignia. That's an interesting item. Just a mortar and pestle. Okay. What organization trained you in the art of killing, and how did you gain membership into it? I like the idea that, yeah, I would say that this makes sense. Like, an assassin doesn't become an assassin on accident. It's not a naturally skilled, or it's not a natural gift someone gets. And yeah, it does kind of feel like an alternate for rogue, Chris. But I think the difference here between assassin is the rogue is more about the subterfuge of it. The assassin is more about, I am here to take out a target. And we'll probably see. I haven't looked at any of the subclasses yet. It's all here. Like, it's all that we're all going to experience it here together. But yeah. So throughout your career, one target eluded you. Who are they, and how have they managed to slip through their fingers? I love the RP here, the possible seed that you feed to your GM. You always do what you must to take down a target, but there's one line you'll never cross. What is it? I really like this too. Yeah. All right, connections. What frightens me about you? What frightens me about you? So I am asking, as the assassin, what frightens me about another player? That's great. That's so much better than what frightens you about me. I like that one. You once asked me to do something that keeps you up at night. What was it? I like it. What secret about myself did I tell you? How did it change your view of me? I think some of these are a little similar. I think I might change some of these questions just to have a little bit more variety than from some of the other questions. The one that got away, your white whale. Yeah. All right. Let's jump into this. I don't think there's anything special here. So jumping into this. Executioner's Guild. First strike. Your first successful attack during a scene deals double damage. What happens on a crit? I'm pausing so long because I'm trying to think about how to balance this. Quad. Yeah, quad damage. Anyone who has been around the internet for some time, specifically the gaming scene, shout out to Operator Perry. See, so here's the thing, right? I'm trying to think about the possibility of critting. Once again, it's 8% chance to crit in Daggerheart. So if you make the attack roll the crit, deal double damage. So let's say we're at max, like we are at a at level 1. That's, say, a D8. And then with this backstab, because I just read ahead a little bit, your ambush feature now deals D8s instead of damage. So say it was a roll with hope, because it's crit, right? So now you're sitting at 2d8, meaning it's 16 plus your d8s. Say on average you rolled a 10. So that's 16, 26 times 2 brings it to 52. Let's just look at adversaries, like, just really quickly. Like, if we jump into adversaries, let's go filter, tier 1, type, solo. So this is something that you're supposed to be fighting by yourself, patchwork zombie. Threshold's 15, bro. Bro, like, what am I doing here? Like, 52 damage from one attack to start off the fight against the patchwork zombie. Variant rules would make that more than double. If you're doing my other variant rule, if you quadruple the damage or triple the damage, then I make it 5 hit points. That's half the hit points off this dude. That being said, the Patchwork Zombie can just heal, so that's not really actually that big of a deal. So maybe I am making it out to be a little bit more than what I'm thinking. Where am I at? But yeah, I would say Austin from Javelin over here. This at level 5 as a level 1 dip, because you can only multi-class once in Daggerheart, but level 1 dip into Assassin it's pretty strong. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good one. As all damage is gated behind. Yeah, I mean it is gated behind the damage threshold system. I'm just thinking about like the possible variant rules. Like technically the 4 health is still a lot, so this actually isn't broken. Rules is written, but I do think it's actually really sick. Because even if you do double damage, like say you deal a D8 plus a D8, and then you double it, so 16 at max, 32. You're still getting severe threshold no matter what. You're just guaranteeing severe damage here, without the use of a tag team attack. I don't hate it, but I think it's a little strong, personally. Yeah, you are doing severe damage by yourself. I think that's the hard part. And it's not that severe damage is impossible. But man, I feel like that's strong. Sorry. Okay, let's keep moving. Executioner's Guild. We've been going for just over an hour here, so just going to keep trucking. When you deal severe damage, so you're dealing severe damage by yourself. You're taking the extra hit point. Damn! What the hell? This is a lot. This is kind of wicked. Scorpion's Poise. You gain a +2 to your evasion against any attacks made by a creature you most recently dealt damage to. The player fantasy of this, I will definitely say, this is definitely your. If someone was like, oh man, I just want to do big damage, play the damn Assassin. Because here's the thing, Assassin will eventually get access to Blade Domain cards, which is sick. So like you have Reaper Strike that you get at level 10. You get what else do you have? You have Deadly Focus, which increases your proficiency. Like you can Deadly Focus before you make your first strike. Like this is actually really good. On top of that, you still get Soldier's Bond for tag teams. Like, what if you first strike tag team? Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of damage, as the people say. Dang. Okay. All right. Yeah, Scorpion's Poise is good. True Strike. Let's go over to Executioner Guild Mastery. Like, this is strong. This is good. It's good. I think it's a little overpowered. Yeah, let's definitely run the gauntlet. Jeremy. True Strike. Once per long rest, you can mark a stress to change the attack roll you make from a failure into a success with hope. I think this, Jeremy, like this True Strike kind of goes in tandem to our fix here. Instead of making this, you can mark a stress, this only triggers on a success with hope. So I think this is actually pretty good. Chokehold combo. No! That's good too. Yeah, I will say, Esther, you made a comment. They better give us some beefier adversaries to deal with the Assassin. With whatever this module ends up being. Mark a stress to change an attack. Yeah, to hope. And then surprise attack. The reaction roll triggered by ambush feature increases from +10. And so this surprise attack would have to change. Like, it'd just be something different. Yeah. Executioner's Guild, solid. Really strong choice. I'd say it's a little stronger. That's all. I'd just say it's a little stronger than it needs to be. Poisoner, oh my gosh. Oh, so this is the one I did read. I did read Poisoner's Guild. Because it was like the last page that I printed, and I started like looking through it, and I was like, oh no. I haven't even gotten to the masteries, but so let's just experience this. Toxic Concussions, mark a stress to deal 1d4 plus 1, or to add 1d4 plus 1 tokens to this. So anywhere from 1 to 5, or from 2 to 5. These potions. Gorgon's Roots. Target's difficulty gains a +1 permanently. Oh. Target's difficulty gets +1 permanently. Wait, how do these... Oh, Envenomate is how you apply the poisons. On a successful weapon attack, you can spend a token from this card to afflict the known poison. So he knows these poisons. You can choose one of these depending on how many you have. So Grave Spore. I will say there is some, like, there are some players that I've encountered that would say it's a damage roll, so I can use my Bardic Rally. Or it's a roll, so I can use my Seraph Die or Bardic Rally. I would not personally allow that. I think that's a little of an overreach for intended rules as intended. So it's like if they add their Seraph Die to this, like no, you cannot have 7 tokens. But Gravespore, target must also mark a stress. I think that's fairly weak in comparison to Gorgon's Root. Damn. Okay. Leechweed, gain a plus d6 to damage roll against attack. Yeah, Gorgon's Root is like, there should be no reason why you don't take Gorgon's Root. You should always, as a player, take Gorgon's Root. There's no reason to get anything else. Gorgon's Root might as well just be the one concoction. None of the other stuff matter nearly as much. Okay, special edition. You get more poisons. Target gains a -2 penalty to damage rolls. Permanent. So these things can't be removed. That's the thing that I think is rough for this. Like, I think poisons can't, like, poisons as permanent is rough. Because, like, you as a GM, you can't counter this by using a fear. Like, permanent, it means permanent. And so, yeah, well, yeah, I guess it's fair. It only goes once per target, but there's no reason why you just don't Gorgon's Root every person on the field. Yeah, the permanent is the rough part. Like, not being able to do this at such a cheap cost. I just don't see why this is why you would do this. This is another one. It would be between Midnight's Veil and Gorgon's Root. I don't even feel like I need to read the other one. Permanently decrease the damage die standard attack by 1 step. Never mind. This is another one. I feel like permanent is a lot. Because here's the thing. It's like, I like the idea of these poisons, but permanent's so damn much. No, and I think I get the limit to 5 uses max. Yeah, Whirlwind. Oh my gosh! Like, you get Whirlwind to this and apply it to the attack. You're hitting everybody like in one. Dang. I just think permanent needs to be removed. I think gains a -2 or gains a -1 penalty is good. I think that's perfectly fine, but permanent is the part where I think, from a balance standpoint, I think gives too much power to the players. It's the same thing that I felt with Witch's Hex. Where is it at? The penalty of difficulty to the tier. I just think this is a lot. Like, so the 2 strongest things, and this is like how I've calculated it, one from feeling, but also like how I've done the math, is the 2 strongest mechanics in Daggerheart that you could possibly do as a player, if you want to think about optimal solution. And once again, I'm thinking more optimally. I'm not thinking like in character. Whenever I play characters, I play it for whatever the hell is more fun. I will take the inoptimal route every single time. Not every single time, but I will take the inoptimal route because I think it's more fun. 100%. I would rather ride the dragon than hit the dragon. So, I visit the dragon once per day to throw a poison dagger until its difficulty is 2. That's so dumb. That's so stupid. But yeah, I just think permanent is a lot. Anyways, so what I was saying, sorry, I forgot this. The strongest thing that you could possibly do in Daggerheart, the most powerful thing, is generating hope. If you can generate hope, you can basically win the game. If you can generate hope and then use that hope, you're basically winning the game. You're guaranteeing your chances of success. The second best thing you can do is lower the difficulty. It's not even close. Actually, I take it back. The only other thing that's more powerful is rerolling. Specifically, rerolling the hope die. Or changing it to where you roll with hope. I think that's one of the more powerful things. But those are definitely top 3. If you can gain hope, so Soldier's Bond, one of the strongest cards in the game, because it's a +6 hope to the party, even though only 2 players get the 3. You get the bonus from, come on, someone, or lowering the DC just makes it easier for everyone to hit. And then if you are able to change your die results or have the GM's die results get changed, those are also strong. Shout out to Support Tank, 100%. Support Tank's super, super hella strong. Anyways, Adder's blessing your immune to poisons and other toxins. I don't know when this would come up, because this isn't like a condition. Like, poisons and toxins aren't conditions. This is all narrative. Even better than removing fear. Yeah, I would say so. Removing fear stops the GM from playing, but it's not nearly as bad as the because stopping the, I mean, it's the idea of, so for those who plays TCG, it's the idea of like mill decks or disruption decks. If you can stop the other person from using resources, that can be strong. It's more annoying, but all you're doing is slowing the game down for you to eventually be able to catch up. It's technically not like, it also depends on meta. This is also TCG stuff. For trading card games, it's the idea that typically like a faster deck should win unless you have a really good control deck, and control decks beat mid range, but mid range beats aggro. It's that whole circle. Anyways, that's besides the point. Did I get that right? Hold on. Aggro beats control. Control beats mid-range. Mid-range beats aggro. And that's how the circle should go. I don't know if there's a mid-range option in Daggerheart, though. It's typically one or the other. I guess you can just play the game slower. Mastery, so we can get to the end of this. Venomancer, you also know these 3 potions. Blight, yeah, target receives a -3 penalty to the damage thresholds. This is not that impactful. 3 damage is negligible. And then Fear Leaf, the damage from this attack gains a bonus equal to the result of your fear die. That's extra damage. It's not great. Twin Fang, when you afflict the target with a known poison, you can spend an additional token to inflict the effect of a second known poison. Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. I think for a mastery that makes sense. I think this is the least egregious feature. Yeah, the least egregious feature on on Poisoner's Guild. Assassin honestly is really good. I think it might need a tune down though, from a balance standpoint. That being said, the Guardian also exists, so it doesn't change anything. I still think the Guardian's the strongest class. I think Assassin might make a really good case for being stronger than Guardian as it's written. Because I think it can outpace anyone else in damage. I think Assassin can officially outpace anyone in damage because it has access to Blade and Midnight. And those are very, very strong damaging domains. So yeah. Anyways, anybody have any questions? Anyone have any comments, questions, all that stuff? I gotta fill this binder out and fill the rest of it. Like, oh, I do have plenty of space. But yeah, I gotta fill this binder out and put all these foundations in there. I gotta redo and stuff. So I will be back tomorrow. Let's just stop sharing my screen here. I will be back tomorrow going over Warlock and what has changed with the Warlock, and also what's changed with the new Brawler, which was called Fighter. But yeah, anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about... I don't know why I'm saying concerns, but anybody have anything about what we've talked about today? So I don't think I have anything else. That was it, everyone. If you're interested to see my thoughts tomorrow, yeah, Bren Kazuki, my thoughts and updates on the fighter. I have not touched the fighter yet. Tomorrow you'll get my raw reactions in the stream tomorrow on how the fighter works. Favorite class? Favorite class? I'm the GM. I don't get to play very often. I haven't even played all the classes, but I've definitely had players in all my classes. I've had every single class multiple times. It's Rogue. It's Syndicate Rogue. Syndicate Rogue is not even. It's still not even close. Syndicate Rogue as it's not even my favorite class. I could care less about the Rogue. Syndicate's just too is my cup of tea. I love everything about Syndicate. I love everything about the fact that when I walk into a town, I know somebody and I can just make them up on the spot. It basically lets me be the GM with Syndicate Rogue. Warlock I also think is really fun. I like the Dread Domain. So Witch and Warlock might start fighting for it because I just really love the Dread Domain. Specifically, my favorite card is Dark Army, but you get it at level 8. Dark Army, I feel like Dark Army should start at a lower level, being less powerful, and it grows and scales as you level. Like it's a card that you keep with you. I like the idea of being Sung Jin Woo, and amassing an army as I get more and more powerful. But Dread Domain, I really love Dread Domain. It has a lot of flavor that I really vibe with. But yeah, other than that, everyone, that is the class. If you want to see my thoughts on Warlock and the new now Brawler class, I'll be going live again tomorrow and going over my first thoughts. I'm also going to be going over the changes to Dread Domain because they do have some changes to Dread Domain. And other than that, I think I'll see you all tomorrow or on the Discord. Once again, hop in the Discord. Let's have some more conversations. We're always talking about Daggerheart over there, even though I have many channels for other TTRPGs. But with that being said, yeah, I will aura farm all the day long. And so I'll see you all tomorrow.